Hey there, it's David Lyon. I just wrapped up a really cool conversation I had with one of my coaching clients, Justyna. She's a yoga teacher, a embodiment facilitator, and a lot more. And we talked about her journey of creating her first transformational offer, of stepping away from charging hourly rates to creating a transformational package for her clients, and also her taking that step to becoming location independent, to actually starting to offer her work online. So if those are things that you're curious about, if you would love to create a transformational offer yourself, if you would love to stop charging per hour for your work, and actually work with people long term on a transformation that they're excited about and charge more for that. And if you would love for your work to be location independent, then I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. You're going to take a lot of nuggets out of this. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Justyna. Cool. Well, Justyna, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation. I'm excited to have it. Can you start us off by sharing, I can briefly in a minute maybe, what it is that you do professionally?
I work as a yoga teacher, a mindfulness and meditation teacher, and dance teacher also, with a scientific background, and I teach around the field of embodiment, body as a temple, body as a guidance system.
Nice. So we started doing the coaching together, I'd say about like 4 or 5 months ago, I think back in April. Can you share a bit about what you were experiencing back then, like what was happening in your life? How were you looking at your business?
Yes, I remember back then, it was one of the moments of doubt or a little business crisis, when I was experiencing that I work a lot and I do a lot, but financially there is not so much coming out, and that I'm using or investing a lot of energy, but what comes back financially was not in balance, kind of. And I also felt that there is much more potential also within my skills and what I can give to people or offer, but that I don't dare maybe, or that I don't dare to bring these ideas to life.
And was there like a specific moment or like a challenge that repeatedly came up that made it clear for you that you'd like to work with me?
Yeah, so first of all, we used to work together once, and it was at the beginning of actually before I started my job as a yoga teacher and I started my business. I used to have a part-time job back then, and I didn't have courage to leave it. And I remember that after this coaching, it was a good kick in the ass. And after, I don't know, after a couple of months we worked together, I did it. And that's how it started. And the second general experience I had was that I had this vision or dream to be able to work independently from the place I live in. So to be able to work from wherever. And I experience a lot. I love working with people in person. I really love doing it in my classes and workshops, but this doesn't give me a lot of flexibility in where can I work. So I always have to be here in order to earn my money, basically. And I had this vision to make some more flexible offers so that me and my clients can work with me wherever.
Nice. And what were some of the roadblocks that were in the way for you of realizing that vision?
There are some beliefs I had about working with people, because I really love, one of the reasons why I love working with people is that I feel a lot and I see a lot when I meet people, and I feel it gives me a lot of information to see people and to feel them, and like in real life. And this information is important for my work also. And so I had this belief that I need to see them in person, that it's absolutely necessary, and that it doesn't have so much value to work with people, for example, online or during the calls.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing was that I don't have any experience with it. So I kind of, it was this classical fear from, not known.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we started working together, and I remember it wasn't actually like right now when I work with people, this like creating some kind of transformational offer that most of the time is online is actually the core of what I do with people. That wasn't actually the case back when we started. So we got into this a couple of months in. What did it feel like when this transformational offer that you had in part already created before that, actually through a workshop that I offered, what was it like to take the first steps of putting that out there? And maybe take us through, like, so we talked about this. I kind of suggested this as an additional income source.
Mm-hmm.
You already had this transformational offer, which you can talk about what it is. So talk us through that, and then also share how was it to take those steps of like putting this out there.
Mm-hmm. It was a very, very beautiful experience, actually. It was very surprising because I was almost sure that it won't work out, and that because we were creating this beta tester version for people to try out my offer. And I had this pretty strong belief that no one will be interested in this because it's an online program. And of course, as always, this perfectionist idea of, okay, this is not ready yet, or not perfect yet, or not good enough yet to put it out there. So I made this draft back then, and I really loved the idea, but I put it aside, and it was just laying there because it was not ready yet. And and it was actually so we made this I finished this offer, and then I sent this email to all of my clients that within one day I already found 3 beta testers who were willing to join the program. And I was not expecting this at all. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Can you
this was
share
really,
what the
really
offer?
nice.
Can you share what the offer is so that people listening can have a sense of like how can such an offer look like?
Mm-hmm. The offer is called Sacred Morning Practice, and it's about creating as a name is already telling us, a morning practice that support people to create space within themselves, to listen, to connect to their feeling, to their inner guidance system, and create space also for healthy habits that can support people to keep the body strong, to keep the nervous system balanced, to dive into their spirituality. And basically whatever, it's very personalized, and it's based on the needs of the person, and routine and wishes and interests, basically.
Yeah, which is one of the cool things about creating a more higher price transformational offer, is that this allows you to really make it fit the person you're working with. Because it's like, that's how I experience it. Like these days when I start working with someone, I actually I give a guarantee that they're going to make a return on their investment in our shared time together. And if not, I'm going to continue working with them. And that's because it's a higher priced offer. And so it like kind of naturally for me creates this space of generosity of like, hey, I'm fully here, I'm fully available, and I want this experience for you to be exactly what you need. I think that's a cool thing about creating these kind of transformational offers, all where you get to kind of be present, everything, like all the skills, everything that you've learned, and kind of be attuned to, okay, what does the other person actually need? Because I know like you offer yoga, you offer dance, you offer stuff around embodiment, uh, let's say connecting breath work, connecting to your sexual energy. So it's like, it's a lot. And I remember we also talked about this challenge of like, there's so many things you're interested in, and this question of how can I be all of this and make sense to people who come across me, so that they're not like, okay, Justyna is these 8 things, but they have like a clear sense. And I feel like with this offer, we were able to create something that is super simple. Like, hey, this is a sacred morning practice that you established to start off the day connected to yourself, connected to your body. And you, as Justyna, get to like offer all these different threads and then have your clients choose like what they want or what they're looking for.
Yes. Yes, and I experienced an amazing transformation myself while establishing a morning practice for myself. And that's why it's so close to my heart to teach it or to support people on the way, because I know how hard it is. I get distracted so easily, and I have a very, very active mind. And for me, it's when sometimes 15 minutes is really enough, and it makes a difference for the whole day, how I feel, how I connect to myself, how I'm connected to my inner source of wisdom also, and how can I focus at work and connect to other beings during the day, and so on and so forth. So this is like, it's a very it's very emotional for me to teach it, because I really believe it makes a difference for people. And if I could manage this, then basically everybody can, because I'm not very good at routines, and with some time and patience and lots of self-love, it's possible.
Nice, beautiful. There's one other moment I want to point out where so we talked about your offer, we talked through the easiest steps you can take to get your first beta testing clients at a lower price. You sent it out, and then I checked in with you the day after, and I was like, so any responses yet? And then I think only after I said that you checked, right? And then there was already 2 people or something like this. And so I remember in this conversation, you said something like, if we would not be doing this coaching right now, we'd probably like would have continued to postpone putting this out there for another 2 years.
Probably.
Yeah. Can you share a bit more of like, how was that to send it out and to receive those, because you wanted 3 beta testers and you got them straight away? Like, how did that feel? What was going on for you? What like changed for you through this experience?
So first of all, I remember, because it's so important for me, this subject, it's and it felt so huge, and that's why I wanted to postpone it, because I felt that I'm basically not ready, that I need like some more years of experience and more education maybe, and more years, I don't know, and it just felt so giant, because it's so important to me, because it makes the change for me, and it was just, it was just this big elephant laying there, and yeah, I remember you saying that you are not worried about this, and that you are sure that I'm gonna get this better test, and I was like, yeah, right, like, you know, let him talk. I'm sure, like, you know,
Coach is talking.
yeah, yeah. No, nobody has money now. We're in the middle of the crisis, you know, all of this. And yeah, and I remember I just did it because we said I would, you know, and I was having this teenager attitude of, you know, like, okay, let's just do it. And yeah, I really didn't have a faith that this gonna work so fast, especially. And I remember then sending it out, and almost immediately, like the first day, I think, even, or the day after, people were writing me, telling me that the timing is perfect, because they feel lost, for example, right now, and they need some guidance, and or they were trying to establish a morning practice for years and they never managed, or that they feel like they felt this call to work with me right now. And it was just a beautiful feeling of being needed, of that being appreciated with my work, and that basically the idea that I had, this gut feeling that I had, that this offer is beautiful and important, that it was right, but it was just killed by my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you've got those 3 beta testing clients. You started working with them. Also, with this lower price that you asked for with those 3 clients, it almost covered our coaching container, which is really cool. That's why I really like this setup of having those first beta testing clients at a lower price, because it's a relatively quick win. As you said, like, you were surprised how quick something came back. What does this experience of, whoa, okay, I put myself out there with this online offer and people responded, what does that mean for your business moving forward, also like for your ambitions, for your personal life? Like, what has changed through that?
Couple of things come to my mind right now. So the first absolutely beautiful thing for me is to be paid for the whole container, for the offer, and not to be paid for hour, which feels really, really nice for many reasons. It also motivates me a lot to develop this program even more, and to be able to give people the best quality that I have. This is the first thing. It makes me independent to work from the whole world, basically. It makes my clients also independent, because now I can have clients from all around the world and they don't have to be in Vienna, which is also amazing. Yeah, and it's just a different, for the first time, a completely different kind of offer. Yeah, when I can put all of my skills basically together, and this is amazing. It feels really, really great.
Nice.
Mm.
So if you kind of think back to when we started working together in April and where you're at now, what jumps out to you the most? Like, what feels like is the biggest difference?
I would say courage.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
the dreamer part of me is now more courageous and more active, because I think I was sitting very strongly in this part of me who was very realistic and critical also. What else? Yes, and I'm learning now that online work actually has a lot to offer, and that I can work in depth as well with people while I'm not present in the room, and I'm very positively surprised about this.
Nice. Beautiful. Cool. yeah, one thing that also we talked about after this initial success of getting those 3 beta testers very quickly was, like, as you shared, you basically went into this not believing at all that this would work out. And um I think I said something like, well, now imagine next time you do something like this with the conviction, like, I know this has worked in the past. So now, there will be a different kind of confidence. Like, if it works, even when you don't believe in this yourself, then just imagine like what's possible when you enter into a new promotion from a place of like, yep, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is something that yeah, I think it's interesting to, when it comes to entrepreneurship and getting things out into the world, to like really be aware from what inner space you're operating from, but also not to become too obsessed about like, oh my God, I have to like always be super confident and excited and so on, because just by taking action, you're gonna get results. Just that the more like clear and aligned your inner space is, the more exponential the results can be. But I think it's a really powerful lesson in what you went through is you don't have to be in the space of like, oh my God, everything's amazing and it's gonna be incredible, but just like, holy shit, this feels scary. I think no one's gonna respond. And then you put yourself out there and reality shows you the contrary, which is really powerful.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really, really, I mean, from my experience, really good to have support in this process, because the blockages are so huge and they feel so, so powerful. But I mean, I would need a lot of energy to do it by myself.
Mm.
And while working with you, it felt like, okay, I just did it. And then it just worked out.
Nice.
Mm.
Is there any other aha moment or insight that stands out to you in our time of working together?
Yeah, maybe it's obvious, but that basically that this is also what I'm teaching, but of course it's to apply your teachings on yourself is always the other thing. That of course the answers and the wisdom you need are within yourself, and that sometimes we just need a little bit of support or pointing to realize this, but it's all within ourselves always, which sometimes we just don't see it.
Yes.
And this was basically one of the biggest teachings again, because this is the lesson that we teach, that we learn all over again. I have this impression that it's actually about tuning in and listening, and then when we already know, it's about the courage to actually do what the voice is telling us, which is the most difficult. I have this impression sometimes, because the voice is courageous and the voice doesn't care about financial crises in the world and our inner blockages and fears.
Yeah, because for me it's kind of a voice from the future.
Yeah.
So like when you look at it rationally and look at, well, what are all the reasons why in this current circumstance this cannot work? It's like it's operating in 2 different realities.
Yes.
And I would, there's always that sense of leap, because it's sensing into something that is not here yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What would you say to other people who would love to move away from charging per hour for their work and maybe be able to create something similar, like a transformational offer at a higher price point, but like they don't know where to start or what to do about it?
What will I tell them? I mean, I would recommend them working with you, would be the first thing. The second is it's the courage I was already talking about. It's worth it to listen to this voice that it's there, and mostly when we feel like we are not ready, we actually are. But I think that this feeling of readiness is never there. I think that we are always kind of not ready, but have to do it nevertheless.
I love it.
Yeah, accepting that we will be not perfect. I think that's it. We are always wait. I mean, me at least, I always wait for this time when I feel like I'm ready and it's perfect and timing is perfect. But I slowly learned that this time is never there, and we just have to accept that it's not, you know, it's never a perfect ground. But yeah, still doing it still.
Yeah. Yeah, I've shared this with you privately, but I'm really celebrating the steps you've taken, and yeah, the path that you're on. It's really exciting for me to be able to witness that and see like what's opening up for you in terms of possibilities. And obviously this is just the beginning. Like there are universes to be discovered there. So maybe you can take us through like what's coming up next for you. What are further goals that are on the horizon for you now that you've had this experience of like, okay, I have some beta testers for my program. It works to work online. What's next for you?
First of all, I mean, I realized already how satisfying this work is. And what I really love about working with people individually is that I can go in depth. I really love going deep with people, like having a look at the psychological and spiritual energetical blockages that are there. And I really love also when I'm able to use my intuition in my work. And this first experiences, they have been wonderful for me and for my clients. So obviously I'm very looking forward to learning now from these experiences and making this offer even better, making it stable, making it like better. Being able to put it online and advertise it properly, and look for more people who would like to try it out. And the second big thing I see in the future is I had this even bigger program, which was a online course on body wisdom. Which is also one of these things that I, started to work on, and it's there for the better times. To teach people how much guidance and wisdom we carry in our bodies and in our subconscious mind, and how to get access to it through different practices and through holding space for ourselves. And combine this with my knowledge from yoga, from science, and from all the other things that I'm doing. Yeah.
Cool. So it's already a next transformational offer on the horizon. Cool. And yeah, I mean, what you describe in connection to the sacred morning practice, like this is going to be our next step to work on. And this is what's kind of the last stage of when I work with clients now also is like what's the ongoing marketing that's necessary for you to consistently fill that offer, because obviously it's amazing that you now have those first clients, but the goal really is for this to be a consistent thing, so that like this transformational offer becomes at least one of the pillars of your financial income. So yeah, I'm excited to work on that with you as well. Cool. Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to share on your experience of working with me that we haven't touched on? Anything that feels important?
I think we talked about everything. I'm very glad that we are doing this. And I feel I feel seen and I feel safe, and it's really nice experience.
Yay. Cool. Well, thank you so much again for taking the time for this conversation. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about your work?
They can visit my website, for example, which is bodymind.network. Or they can get in touch with me via email, just office@bodymind.network. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we can put, well, yeah, we can also put, if you want, your social media profiles somewhere around this video for people to check it out. Cool. Yay. Thank you, Justyna.
Thank you.